Good afternoon, everyone. Very warm welcome to all of you. Online students, please confirm if I'm audible and visible to all of you. Offline students, I hope it is audible. Okay, so we are meeting after prelims. Some familiar faces. I hope they are happy faces as well. So first of all, how was the prelims? How was the prelims specifically for those, for everyone basically, not just for who have given it for the first time? Okay. All right. Any reactions from you? Not just emoji reactions. It's more about how are you feeling? Yes, it was on the tougher side. That's true. Uh, yes, that is also a very valid option. No one knows how was it, right? Only answer keys will tell you. ठीक है. You you didn't expect it. That's UPSC. Yes. So they will play with your emotions and everything, right? Uh, okay, lengthy, yes. So again, the agenda of this very session is not to analyze each and every question, because I don't believe in that. Even if I brainstorm with you for 24 hours, UPSC may release a totally different answer for some of the questions. So the idea is of this session is basically what to do now. Now prelims is done, and again, if you are here and if you have survived that day, I salute you all, because it was again difficult for everyone, right? It was, if I want to say just in one word, it was not conventional, right? It was not conventional at all, right? Whatever thing is there, whatever anyone, including myself, I admit it, including myself, anyone who teaches you anything, they ask you to read Lakshmikant, right? All of us says this, and I don't see many questions from Lakshmikant. We ask you, okay, you read money banking, you read RBI, and all. Obviously, some questions were there here and there, NBFC push and all that. But I cannot say this was something that anyone of us expected in that regard, right? Yes, very true. Not just previous question, no relations to questions and all. I'm wondering next time maybe they will be asking something about. There was this question in SSC examination. Arrange the actresses in the order of the heights, right? So this is left, right? This is the next level that they may reach that, right? Yes, current affairs was not current per se. I don't know what it was. It was affairs, but no one knows what they specifically wanted you to be. Okay, there are two aspects. Whenever we prepare for something, we have to understand what's the reason behind that, right? When I say you are preparing for an examination, right? We expect you work hard and you can qualify, right? This is the major expectation, and I have been receiving a lot of calls, messages. I have been discussing with my students as well, and someone who has qualified prelims multiple times, even in the services, they have already qualified 2-3 times. Still, they are not very sure. The reason is this kind of paper, it actually demolishes everything, right? Your confidence, the approach that everyone teaches with, the books that you have, everything, right? So you tend to question everything. So this is the session where I will not just, if you consider all this, this is very valid. These are valid emotions. I cannot deny that. I can tell you, anyone, again, in my time, I was always comfortable in prelims, 30 marks above cutoff. Even everyone who is teaching here, if they come and sit, I'm not sure 10% of us will be qualifying this examination. This is very true. Because I know various things. Suppose I have heard about Hilton Young Commission, right? But that I did not, again, right now, even Spectrum may have included that. But when I was there, Spectrum was choti si thi. So it was there in Bandopadhyay. But and this was one of the easier questions. Hilton Young Commission itself was one of the easier questions. Mistress of the field, kaun se Veda mein hai? No one knows, right? Even if you are PhD in history, I don't think you can solve more than 50% of questions in history. Not even modern history, yes, right? So that is true. All the things that you have said, that you conveyed, that it was not predictable, it was, again, very much lengthy, it was not conventional, it created panic, it reached out to your heart and taken it out, right? Everything is valid. But the idea is, this is an exceptional year. We cannot base our preparation on exceptions. Yes, we have to learn. Yes, that is a very valid point, and that's why I am here for the first time. I have never said, because there will be questions in the paper that are there to leave. Every year there will be 10, 15 unpredictable questions. That is okay. But right now, if I look at the paper, 50 questions were unpredictable only, right? I cannot say ki you read this and there will be this question. So suppose many of us read the Bare Act, and hardly, out of 100 students, only 10 students go to the last part of the Constitution, right? So that was again on the easier side, right? So I can't even tell you the level of paper was very difficult, and I'm not just saying tough, because tough is something like ठीक है मैंने स्पेक्ट्रम न पढ़ी, हो सकता है बंदोपाध्याय पढ़ ली होती तो हो जाता. It's not like that. You have to read again Upinder Singh for ancient art and culture if you have to solve these questions, and then that also you cannot be very much sure about, right? So yes, so idea is you have to understand, and this I have been asking you to inculcate from the very beginning. UPSC wants dynamic officers. All the videos that I had taken in last 1.5 or 2 months, the most important thing that I have emphasized was the calmness, the patience in exam hall. Because yes, this paper was everything that you have defined, but at the same time, it was same for all of you, right? UPSC still have to take out 10-15,000 students from these, yes, right, depending on the seats you have, suppose 12 to 15,000 will be selected. So it's not about whether you are, earlier you may have been scoring 100 marks, 110 marks, doesn't matter. Maybe cutoff will be lower. Obviously it will be lower, right? But at the same time, idea is you had to keep calm in the exam hall. If the paper was tough, it was tough for everyone. Then you have to look for some things that we have discussed earlier also. Yes, CSET was also very tricky. But idea is I was talking to one of the aspirants who was selected earlier, and he had already given 2023 attempt. CSET was very tough that year also. But the difference between this year and that year was, that year no one knew that CSET could be that tough. This year, I have been asking you, CSET can be that level, or if I may say, it may be tougher than the 2023 part as well. But again, there will be questions even just before the examination. I have asked you, again, see the powers of, if anyone had attempted that session, how many zeros are there, counting zeros, right? Even odd. So there will be some things that you can always do, right? Now, the idea is what to do next. We cannot rely on all these things, otherwise it will create a total anarchy, right? कोई कुछ नहीं बता सकता फिर, ठीक है? But again, we will try to derive some things that can be taken out from this particular prelims examination. But before that, I would just want to ask if you have any specific questions that you want me to address in this very session. CSET can be very much on that level. There's no issue. CSET was at least predictable. We have already said CSET is going to be tough. GS कितना unpredictable हो जाएगा, कितना tough हो जाएगा, no one knew. At least we expect 30 questions, 40 questions you can get from all the things that you have covered from static or others, right? This is what we are going to come on. All right, cutoff is the only answer if you want. No one can tell you apart from the computers that will be taking out the cutoff in UPSC, right? If I have to take a guess, obviously it is tougher. So पिछली बार से तो obviously कम जाएगा, maybe around the range of 2023, right? That's what I want to say. But again, don't focus on that part. And this is what I can say. Next 15 days are very important for all of you, right? Because in next 10, 15, 20 days, UPSC will release their result also. Right? I'm not just focusing on keys of UPSC, because even if they release keys, there will be representation, there will be some drop questions and all that, right? So obviously there can be a range of 20, 30 marks. So even if you're getting 90 marks now, your marks can slide down to 70. Even if you're getting 60 marks, you can always score 85, 90, right? No one knows. So don't focus on that part. The idea of this session is to help you navigate this. These next 15 days are very important. So let me begin with this. Next 15 days, you have to focus on what you can control on, right? Even if result is positive or negative, doesn't matter. You have to focus on your optional. If someone is weak in optional, they have not studied something. Yes, that's very true, Kanchan, right? So start with your optional, take out one paper and try to read, revise, add value, whatever you want to in next 15-20 days. Alongside, you can also start with your ethics, right? This is one of the things that you can start doing right now without focusing on keys or this or that, right? Because what's done is done, right? Any other question that you want me to answer? Otherwise, I'll come to that. I'll come to that, Aryan. I'll discuss that. I'll also have one of the sessions on this topic going forward. Don't worry about it. Any specific question that you want to ask? Not the methods per se. Yes, some changes you have to do, but not drastic per se. It's not like you'll not be reading Lakshmikant anymore, right? It cannot be that way, right? You can always start with the yellow book if someone is asking for the source, right? Any particular questions that you have in the very beginning, or shall I begin with a roadmap?
I mean, should we change our pattern of preparation? Like this paper was very unconventional.
Right. This was unconventional again, but at the same time, as I said, this is equally hard, equally lengthy. It was equal for all of you, right? So idea is to remain calm there, work on your strengths. So even in history, you can take out 7-8 questions, right? That was the most difficult part. In polity, you can make more correct, right? Ab sabko pata hai crowding out effect kya hota hai, I hope, right? So these questions were also there. So yes, the number of questions that you can already predict was lower, but it will decrease the cutoff itself, right? The main thing was to be calm in that exam hall. How many of you have felt that panic in exam hall? Shivering or I don't know, various symptoms happened? What did you do? All right, ठीक है. Chalo, let's begin with that. So first thing is 5 lessons that I can derive from this prelims. Again, what is this question mark? You cannot predict the unpredictables, right? And UPSC is one of them, specifically the prelims aspects. In mains, you have the surety, you have a defined syllabus that you can always bank on. There will be 1 or 2 bouncers there, but again, it is same for everyone. Like last time, there was twisters or something like that, right? But more or less, everything else is on the conventional part. Now comes the prelims part. There are some aspects that have been very, very unpredictable in that sense. But always remember, this examination wants you as a dynamic officer who remains calm. Second thing is, they want someone who is well read. Who is well read. It's not just these 4 books per se. When I say well read, there are various ways to be well read. You can interact with your professors, you can interact even with ChatGPT, but the underlying aspect is be curious. So the first question was there, rag was there, right? Some rag was there and you had to identify ki Carnatic music mein kaun sa hai. So why this was there? If any one of us is curious, I know it's very difficult. It's very easy for me to say that you should know the answer. I'm not saying you should know the answer. But what I'm saying is how you should change your approach to thinking part. Jan Gan Man, our national anthem, is sung, right? We all know. So what is, how, if you are interacting with a brother or sister, he asked me, yaar, aise kyun gaate hain? What's the underlying, maybe some rag is there. If we are curious about that, then we can pinpoint the answer. Right? So what I'm saying is, I'm not asking you to ki classical music padhne baith jao pura. But there was this similar pattern, parliament ki nayi building ho rahi thi, right? At that point of time, they asked 64 Yogini temple and circular temple, something like that. So the building was inspired. The parliament building that we had was inspired by that temple, right? So I'm not saying कि हर किसी को ये चीज याद रहेगी, and that's why this paper was tough and unpredictable. That's what I'm saying. But at the same time, there were predictable aspects. You should know कि India में कौन से suppose planes हैं वो manufacture होते हैं, right? Or the basic things like again various easy questions were also there. It's not like totally पूरा tough था. 15-20 obviously you can easily get through. ठीक है? Second thing is you can only focus on controlling the controllables, right? So again, as I said, it's a competitive exam. You cannot alter the whole approach of preparation drastically. Only thing is some mindset changes are needed. You still have to read Lakshmikant, you still have to go for spectrum, you still have to revise the geography and CRTs. Doesn't matter, because if the question comes from there, suppose there was this question regarding rainfall, right? वो अगर गलत कर रहे हो तो इशू है, राइट? सो लगातार 2-3 क्वेश्चन ज्योग्राफी के हैं जो आपके बेसिक सोर्सेस से होंगे, तो वहां पे गलती नहीं करनी. But at the same time, you have to understand this was also a lengthy paper, right? And one of the things that I always suggest to you, again, open any of the videos, any of the lectures that I've taken, I have emphasized on one thing more specifically, is newspaper. If someone says कि यार newspaper के बिना काम हो जाता है, maybe you have luck on your side, still people are scoring 110 and 120. I'm not saying there are not people like that, but they had luck on their side. Some luck is needed to score that much. But if you want to be sure कि यार बाकियों से better करना है मेरे को, because any compilation of any institute, they have men behind them, they have a team, they are working rigorously, but at the same time, the ideas that newspaper teaches you, the analytical abilities, the width of knowledge, right? No one else can match. And also your reading speed. In comprehension, I used to tell this, but right now, this again was a comprehension itself. There are so many questions that was very hard. You will need 1 minute or 1.5 minutes just to read them, right? So it is, I'm again saying that it is unfair at some level, right? The skill should be of knowledge, right? Your temperament, but at the same time, don't worry about these numbers, right? If you are scoring anything above 60, you start preparing for mains. I'm not saying हर किसी का हो जाएगा, but idea is no one knows. 20-30 number का हमेशा there will be difference, right? No one knows. 3 question drop कर दिए, 2-3 question इधर उधर से गलत हो गए, तो again you are in the same zone. So focus is on preparing for next 15 days very diligently, so that if you get selected, and this is a very good chance for someone who is a beginner. Why I'm telling this is there are so many veterans. It actually leveled the playing field. Even if you have read Lakshmikant 5 times, if you have again even in your sleep you can spill everything out of spectrum, it makes no sense. No difference. Even a fresher is more or less on the same level playing field in this paper. So the competition that you are going to get in mains is less severe, right? So someone who qualifies, there will be 10% who has done it just by their hard work. Congratulations to them. But all the others, I know 90% will be on the edges, right? So please use this time very, very judiciously. This is the first thing. Second thing is, yes, this and hell yes, this was a lengthy paper, but at the same time you have to train yourself, right? I don't want to go into that. We'll cover. I'll have some sessions regarding mains in the upcoming weeks, but let's focus on this now, right? So first idea is be again थोड़ा सा presence of mind रखना है while reading newspapers. It is a non-negotiable. It used to add a lot of value in your essays, ethics, mains answer, GS 2 or 3. If you are very good in current affairs, you can do it, right? If you obviously have a stronghold over static part as well, but current affairs is very much needed. But specifically for prelims of this level, everyone knew कि Operation Sindoor हुआ है, right? Drone swarm, सबको पता है हो रहे हैं. Just go and see what are these, right? थोड़ा सा curiosity थोड़ी सी ज्यादा रखनी है. So if you have been giving say 50 minutes for newspaper, I'll say increase 20 more minutes. This is what I'll say. I'm not still saying कि 3 घंटे लगा दो. That much is not needed, but every day you should learn something more. Be a bit more curious. I used to say this कि down to earth पढ़ा करो, not पढ़ा करो, videos 2-3 मिनट के देख लिया करो, so that you are aware. This you have to do across papers now, right? 15-20 minutes a day to be curious. That's all. बाकी सब चीजें जो भी हो रही हैं वो सबके लिए constant है, right? अगर लक्ष्मीकांत से नहीं आया तो सबके लिए नहीं आया. It's not like someone has read 10 books on that and उसके बाद हो रहा है तो they may suffer in something else. ठीक है? हाँ, yes. In the beginning it will take time. Yes, on newspaper reading I'll take a separate lecture altogether. because I know many of you who are starting, you will be confused in that. But at the same time, idea is first inculcate the habit itself. I have seen many of you who do this for 7 days, and from 8th day they are not reading newspapers कि यार magazine ही पढ़ लेंगे. It saves your time definitely, but again it will put you in jeopardy in such situations. ठीक है, जब conventional चीजें नहीं हो रही हैं. Newspaper will always give you an edge. There was this, I'm not saying everyone should and could do that. Still 60 of the questions were directly from PIB, right? I'm not saying everyone will remember that, but the fight will be between those candidates who are more aware, and newspapers covered that. So please focus a little more on newspapers with curiosity. Okay, Nitin, I don't want to speculate on cutoffs. As I said earlier, focus on mains. Anything, मतलब obviously 23 के आसपास रहना चाहिए. 23 का 75 कट ऑफ था फॉर जनरल, so it should be within that range. Plus minus 5 कर लो maximum, right? But you start preparing. That's the whole point. Don't speculate on cutoffs. Start preparing for mains. ठीक है नितिन? चलो. Second thing is again, तो newspaper is non-negotiable now. It should become part of your habit. सुबह उठे सबसे पहले newspaper पढ़ना है. Have you met some people who are addicted to tea, right? Unless and until you give them a cup of tea, नींद ही नहीं खुलती है. And I'm one of them, right? So it should be that way. कि newspaper के बिना your day should not be complete, right? So that should be there. If you are not able to retain something, make a diary. Every day, even if you are listing out, say, half a page of additional information, right? Rest, whatever you are doing, you can keep doing that. But just this point, if something is unique, right, you write it down. And again, something is in news and important in that sense as well. And again, as at the very end, I always emphasize never neglect CSAT, because still I am having those students who have read and done GS wonderfully. There was a student who is even qualified. अभी भी CSAT की वजह से रुक रहा है, right? Because they get, ठीक है, एक बार selection हो चुका है, अब CSAT तो नहीं रुकेगा, right? And that still happens. Not both newspapers, Ayushi, only one newspaper. ठीक है, एक newspaper अच्छे से पढ़ो, and that will be the way ahead. ठीक है? PIB is obviously important. देखो, PIB important होती है, but you cannot follow each and everything on PIB. That's my personal experience over the years, right? So better thing is consolidate subject wise. You can make a notebook. Polity ke at the end you have some 20-30 pages. Similarly for economy, similarly for environment. Apart from whatever you are reading for your current affairs, okay? That will do. Not the whole PIB things, right? Chalo. Now what's next? There will be set of students who have given this attempt, and again, for all of you who have given this attempt and who are scoring anyway above 50 or 60, start preparing for mains at least for next 20 days, because anyway you have to cover your optional and ethics. But as I said, this is a precious time. If you lose them, again it will not come back. और फिर उसके बाद मेंस में कंपटीशन कंपैरेटिवली कम होने वाला है, तो यू हैव बेटर चांसेस ऑफ सिलेक्शन. अदरवाइज ये नॉर्मल पेपर होता तो 263 तो वही लोग सेलेक्ट हुए थे पिछली बार जो पहले से सर्विसेज पे थे, राइट? फिर उसके बाद यू हैव वेटरन्स, राइट? सो आइडिया इज यूज दिस, एंड फॉर ऑल द अदर्स you analyze your mistakes. I know there will be, if someone has given everything, it's not on you. The blame is not entirely on you. You can be very proud, you have stood there, you have fought, and that's what we wanted, right? But yes, UPSC tells you and reminds you various things, and one of them is Gita's lesson, right? Karm kare ja, phal ki ichha mat kar. Sometimes you have to come back to that, otherwise you lose your sanity itself, right? And that is very much needed. If you are into this preparation, you should be there. The ups and downs aayenge, and this is one of that down phase. And I know even among you, many of you will still qualify, right? So keep working on that. Chalo. So how to go about now? Whatever phase you are in, if you have attempted this year, start with your optional and ethics. कोई sources कहीं भी confirm करने हैं, you start with the yellow book for ethics or any source that you want. But ideas ethics में करना क्या है? First thing is you have to understand the syllabus well. I hope all of you do. Then you take out a topic. Suppose emotional intelligence is a topic, right? What you need to understand is पहले एक बार previous year questions देख लिया, right? कि previous year questions आए हैं EI पे क्या क्या आए हैं. So according to that, you just make some pointers. Okay, what is emotional intelligence? Then what are the components of emotional intelligence, right? Then what is the significance of emotional intelligence in personal life and in professional life, in civil services, right? प्रोफेशनल लाइफ में एक दो चीजें कर लो ना, वर्क कल्चर, या फिर अगेन हाउ इट हेल्प्स यू बैलेंस वर्क लाइफ बैलेंस इन दिस कमिंग डे एंड एज, राइट? सो इस तरह से सिग्निफिकेंस वाला पार्ट कवर करो. देन यू मूव ऑन, what are the issues with this particular concept? Agar hum, can we over rely on this concept? So it is not, again, you have to know everything as well, right? It's not a substitute for intelligence per se. So you have to reach that table. Obviously how long you stay there will depend on your EI, but you have to first reach that table with your knowledge itself. Okay? Then again, how it can be inculcated, whether it can be inculcated, this is the first question. Then how it can be inculcated in children or in civil servants, what is the effectiveness? Then you have your conclusion. And whenever you are preparing a topic, have 2 or 3 types of introductions. Suppose emotional intelligence, first introduction would be my definition by Goldman. Second introduction can be, maybe you use some book, emotional intelligence work by so and so, have highlighted how it is crucial to have emotional intelligence to succeed in career. या फिर even you quote anyone, any big leader of any organization, ठीक है, या कोई report आई हो, whatever you want to. So there are 3-4 types of introductions that you have to understand. For a particular topic, maybe write 2 in your notebook. Again, when you're preparing for mains, your idea is first covering those 50-80 topics from a particular subject that are most important. Mains mein recycle bahut hota hai, right? 80% of the things will be from previous year papers itself. There will be some current aspects, say from science and tech, jo evolve hote rehte hain, but otherwise very very important themes are there. Inclusive growth हो गया, food processing industry हो गया, self help group हो गया, micro finance हो गया, and all that. So we will be covering that in upcoming lectures as well. But for the time being, this is how you have to prepare for your ethics. Similarly, in your optional, but again, I cannot tell you about every specific optional per se, but every optional has 2 papers, right? So you start with a weaker one right now. So suppose my optional is sociology, and many of this, how many of you have sociology here? 4. Okay. How much comfortable are you in section C of paper 2? Suppose I ask you a question, declining sex ratio in developing countries is a cause for concern. Suppose this is a question, analyze it sociologically. So idea is, how would you differentiate it with GS answer? And this happens in every optional. Political science का अपना होगा, anthro का अपना होगा, anthro more or less static है, pub ed का अपना होगा, right? This is how you have to first identify what your notes are, उसको बार बार रिवाइज करना है, उस पे 1 or 2 पेजेस बनाने हैं. सपोज आई कैन एक्सप्लेन अ टॉपिक ऑफ एलियनेशन, सपोज फ्रॉम सोशियोलॉजिकल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, व्हाट इज एलियनेशन, मार्क्स ने क्या बोला एलियनेशन के बारे में, राइट? उसने किससे, अगेन कहां से डिराइव किया वो कंसेप्ट, तो हैगल का थोड़ा बहुत आपको पता होना चाहिए. देन यू मूव ऑन टू व्हाट इज द एलियनेशन एग्जैक्टली, राइट? क्या 4 प्रोसेसेस हैं. देन अगेन व्हाट इज द सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ दिस पर्टिकुलर टर्म और कंसेप्ट इन सोशियोलॉजिकल सर्कल्स और सोशियोलॉजी इन एज अ सब्जेक्ट, राइट? Then what are the issues with alienation, right? कौन-कौन से thinkers ने criticize किया है, and then you understand what is the significance in present day. आज you understand, even GS students can tell कि Uber drivers or gig economy workers may feel alienated. But when you are just writing this, it is, again, there is a topic, common sense or sociology, तो वो common sensical है. You have to back it with your thinkers. And then some studies if possible. I'm not saying हर point के लिए study होनी चाहिए, but at the same time it will give you an edge. कि suppose there was this paper Uber alienated in EPW. I'm not asking you to read all these, but understand you have to back your arguments. This is what will make the answer sociological. So idea is, when you are studying a different subject, you have these 1-pagers, 2-pager notes with you that can be revised multiple times, right? So start with that for a particular paper, and then move on to the next topic. In next 15-20 days, try to finish, if possible, 1 paper, if not at least half of the paper. Okay? So that you, ideally, if you are, you have been serious, you must have read your optional 1 or 2 times. So yes, 1 revision is possible. Okay? By the time 1 revision is there, then you move on to your ethics. Every day, devote 1 or 2 hours for your ethics. And ethics, obviously, you have to understand the concept. Then you also collect some, there are 2 things. First, you have to have a very good understanding of the concept, right? It's not like मैंने अशोक खेम का याद कर लिया, मैंने ये एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर से याद कर लिया और मेरा आंसर अच्छा हो जाएगा. That's not the way. To make your answers more unique, you will have to present unique points as well. You read toppers copies like Shakti Dubey, right? You will see she has quoted books, she has quoted again Supreme Court cases, right? So this kind of interconnections you will need in ethics as well, and that will only happen when you are practicing. So whenever you read something, you have to consolidate and write it up. Okay, so try to write some answers on the weekly basis. If again you are very new, if you are hesitant, you can start with writing one answer daily or two answers daily, whatever works for you, but without the specific mentors will also convey to you RL, right? But whatever you do, you have to consolidate. That's the whole point. In next 15-20 days, do that. Don't focus on rumors ki itna cut off jane wala hai ya utna cut off jane wala. No one knows, right? Obviously, we all have experience, but experience can take you to a certain level, right? No one is a god here, right? By the way, क्या आंसर था बुद्धिज्म वाले का? Buddhism question was there, right? Jainism, sorry, right? Who is part of Jainism? Gods, demigods, right? So idea is there will be a lot of debate. I know this, right? So that's why you have to wait for UPSC key, because what Jainism, in my limited understanding, I'm not again optional faculty of history. Better people are there, but at the same time, in my limited understanding, I know this. They talk about gods. They talk about heavenly bodies. Yes, Hindi translation के हिसाब से यक्ष है, but when you read a file, there is heavenly bodies. So heavenly bodies can be, Jainism does not believe in like supernatural God per se, what we perceive, कि किसी ने creator of the universe. But they do understand that any soul have this capability to reach the level of God. तो वो souls जो हैं, that can be interpreted as demigods, yaksh as well. So which interpretation UPSC wants, they will only tell. Okay? So again, don't go into that, but idea is focus on these things, right? Don't go into discussing answers or again calculating your cutoffs. Chalo. Is it clear? Any confusion, any doubt so far? Clear, Abhi? Online students, any doubt? Any confusion? Chalo. So if you are preparing for 27, right? If you have just maybe here to see the reactions of others or someone who wants to prepare for 27, you have to start with basic things. Read a particular topic, consolidate it, right? Right. If you have attended some classroom program, you try to do the synopsis of that particular class. Every day, suppose Manocha sir is teaching, you may have written 8, 10, 20 pages in a class. Try to concise it in 2 pages so that you can revise it more frequently. If someone is doing a self-study, I'll again try to bring out some more classes on that, how to do the self-study and prepare or something like that. But again, for the time being, you refer a source, you consolidate it. Then you keep adding from newspapers, right? So whenever you are reading something, maybe some good case study is there, some data is there, you add it in your own notes. Okay? Then always remember the most difficult part of this preparation, apart from these kinds of prelims exam, is your balancing it. How you are balancing your GS and option, how you are balancing current affairs and static, these things. So always remember, I personally believe कि suppose GS is 1000 marks, right? GS 4 papers. You have optional as 500 marks. So mathematically, if you are studying for 6 hours for GS, you should at least give 3 hours for your optionals as well. But yes, optional can give you better marks, so you can again vary. 3 से 4 घंटे हो सकते हैं. There's no issue in that. But always try to achieve a balance, right? This is not a strict compartmentalization in that sense. If you have been very confident in GS, you can give more time to your option. That's totally okay. Okay. Then what you have to do is you have to follow this loop. Every knowledge, whenever you want to acquire any sort of knowledge, that will need obviously first literature review, all those processes are there. But once you have your own notes, you have to revise it multiple times. Make it a point every week. This is for someone who is preparing for 27. Every week you give out some target to yourself. You try to achieve that target. It may happen that you are not able to achieve 100%, maybe 50, maybe 60, maybe 70. but after that you write a test, you practice some previous papers or whatever you want to, right? And then get the feedback, because application, and again application is very much necessary, because if you're not applying, you're just passively reading something, it will happen like in prelims. In mains also you will be blank, you don't know what to write now. I understand this is the term, this is the concept, but how to write 250 words on that, right? So that you have to do. For 27 students, always remember, you have to learn, you have to revise, and again apply rigorously. Right now for 27 students, suppose you have 70 weeks with you. This 70 weeks, take these 70 weeks every week as one UPSC attempt. This will help you create that urgency, right? कि अगले हफ्ते मेरा एक attempt है, I have to finish the targets that I have given myself, right? वो करना है. अगर वो नहीं आएगा तो वो 1 साल का 5 साल में convert हो जाता है, no one knows. ठीक है? So this is something that you have to focus on. Next 6 months are going to decide how you are going to do good in your 27 attempt. This is for 27. ठीक है? Again, try to develop a system that doesn't crash even in such papers, right? Because you have to be better than I've been talking to students who are scoring at least above 90, 95. What was the common thing in that? They have done the basics right. जो basics से आए हैं वो गलत कोई भी नहीं होना चाहिए. Then they were more reliant on newspapers as well, right? These are the two takeaways as of now, as of the interactions I've had, कि यार इतना आपको करना है रेगुलरली, यही आप करो, बाकी बहुत ज्यादा मेजर चेंजेस की जरूरत नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं है. कौन सा? That's what I'm saying. So one of the students, what's your name again? Avinash. So Avinash is saying even in this paper 85 was a doable target. Whether you concur, whether you agree on his point of view.
Sir, I'm into the 68 or 70.
What you did? What was your approach?
Basically क्या है कि daily वही 50-60 questions करना पेपर से 2 मिनट में.
It depends on how much you know,
Breadth.
cover in the exam.
Yes, आपकी breadth कितनी है examination के लिए, right? So these things happen, and I have अभी this is for someone who is for 27. मैंने prelim से 1 महीना पहले आपको टेस्ट मना कर दिया था, 15 दिन पहले बिल्कुल मना कर दिया था, because I don't want you to be having new knowledge, new stuff. जो है consolidate करो. But when you are approaching prelims, अभी पूरा अगर किसी पे 1 साल होने वाला है या है, तो always remember, books can take you to a certain point. Suppose spectrum आपने पढ़ी है, but there will be gaps in spectrum that you cannot fill. कि आपके या तो आपके पास ये इशिता बनर्जी दुबे पढ़ लो, बंदोपाध्याय पढ़ लो, that is not the option, time नहीं है. तो solve more questions.
सर आप सारी चीजें हैं ना एक दिन में रिवाइज नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन आपने 100 क्वेश्चन कर लिया तो 100 टॉपिक आपने रिवाइज.
Yes, so very important point, and this I always convey. Whenever you are solving a test, suppose 100 questions are there, there are 400 options. You are talking about 400 options in 3-4 hours. वो आप किसी चीज से मैच नहीं कर सकते. So again, I have always, in my time, I always scored very decently above 20-30 marks every time because of this approach itself. I used to attempt more. Second thing was I had this breadth, right? And many of my friends who have consistently cleared prelims all the 6 times, even in services 2-3 times, there was a roommate of mine जो 3 से 4 बार selection ले चुका है, right? So idea is you always remember there are some basics that will be there. Even this paper he is saying, and this is applicable. What I'm saying is it is difficult for some of you who are very new because वो panic भी होगा, बहुत सारी चीजें होंगी. But if you keep your nerves, paper can be there. That again gives you the advantage over the others. I'm not saying कि अभी 100 वाला paper है ये. No, it is difficult, but that is difficult for everyone. ठीक है? Now coming back to this, so be consistent, be structured in your preparation, and again try to have these elements from the very beginning. ठीक है? चलो, अभी for mains 2026. Don't waste this time, make it count, because these 15 minutes, 15 days are actually going to be a lot, making a lot of difference, right? Someone who has already revised paper, suppose of paper 2 of sociology, is always going to be a step ahead, right? Or ethics. So you have already covered 250 marks plus 500 marks, okay? So don't waste this time. Focus should be on kingmakers, as I call them. So ethics, optional, and do write some essays. Don't leave it to the very end. Abhi you are, if you have given prelims, you have decent amount of knowledge, you can apply that knowledge. So in essays, what to do, there will be some workshops. I can take one of them in future, but the idea is you take out some toppers copies in the very beginning. You see how they are writing. Try to frame, if I'm talking about essays particularly, so what you have to do is, first you have to understand what they want in essay. पहले तो syllabus देख लेना, है ना, 3-4 कीवर्ड हैं, उसी के अराउंड आपको ऐसे रखना है. सेकेंड थिंग इज यू रीड सम टॉपर्स कॉपीज. और टॉपर्स का मतलब ये नहीं होता कि जिसने AIR 1 ही लाया है, टॉपर इन दैट पर्टिकुलर सब्जेक्ट, राइट. इफ यू आर फ्रॉम सोशियोलॉजी, मे बी ही हैज गॉट 700 रैंक, बट ही हैज स्कोर्ड 295 इन सोशियोलॉजी, ही इज अ टॉपर फॉर यू. सिमिलरली इन योर एसे, डजंट मैटर व्हाट द रैंक वाज, ऐसे में अगर 140 है, 135 है, इट्स अ वेरी गुड स्कोर दिस ईयर. ठीक है, इवन यू कैन रेफर सम प्रीवियस ईयर टॉपर्स, राइट. सो start with toppers copies. Try to read 3, 4, 5 copies. उन्होंने जो टॉपिक लिखा है उसको एक बार पढ़ो सिर्फ. Then you start documenting it कि what are the lessons I can learn from this topper. There's a topper who has graciously shared her experience of essays. उन्होंने सारे टॉपर्स को पढ़ा और फिर डॉक्यूमेंट करा है. So you can also find them. I'm not able to remember the name. Right, so you can find that, but at the same time you do it yourself as well, right. So read some toppers copies, try to write okay, these are the ways I can introduce. Story बना ली, anecdote बना लिया, quote से start कर दिया, report, whatever you want depending on the topic of the essay. ठीक है, इस तरह से I am going to transition, right. Scoping होती है ऐसे में, right. You are giving the scope of the essay, जैसे एग्जामिनर को पता लग जाए how you are going, what you are going to write in the upcoming sections. This is one way. If you are starting, this is a decent way, but if you are again very much good in writing essays, you can skip altogether. There are so many toppers who do not give the scoping part, right. So this is how you learn how to be better. Make some innovative headings, right. Good versus bad, ऐसा नहीं, थोड़ा सा innovative कर लो. उसके लिए what you can do is you again download any book, any novel and try to see the chapter's name, right. अभी धुरंधर देखी होगी, RRR कभी ना कभी देखी होगी. They used to this show this. This is again how you convey, right? Chapter 1, right? So something like that. तो इसमें आप you bring some innovations, right? It is the language is there, but obviously you can learn a lot. Whenever I'm saying read newspapers, whenever an article is written, it is written by someone who is expert in that field, right? And they also give a lot of time. First they have experience of say 40 years, and now they are giving time to write that article. So they will be doing a thorough research. So you will be getting a good introduction, good conclusion, and again some valuations, how to connect the paragraphs. So this is an exercise. That's why newspaper is very important, right? After this, you document this for 7 days. 1 to 7 days you do this, nothing else. Half an hour every day maximum. You do this for next 7 days. 8th day or 9th day maybe you take out a topic that you have not read that topper has written. You write on the same topic. Maybe in the beginning you will be able to write just 3 pages, not an issue. But before that you have to understand the art of brainstorming essays, right? कि कैसे brainstorm करना है, कौन कौन से dimensions खोलूंगी मैं, कौन कौन से questions raise करूंगा मैं, right? Something like that. So practice that for 2 to 3 days, and then you actually go and write a full-fledged essay. Then you compare that essay को compare करोगे उस topper से कि okay, this is where the topper has done well, this is where maybe I have done well, right? Something like that, and that you will document कि what is working, what is not. ठीक है? And then maybe after 15 days you would have written 1 or 2 essays. Then you will get to know about your result. You can carry on with the mains preparation. Otherwise, you can full-fledged prepare for another attempt or so, right? One thing I want to convey, this may not be a popular thing to say, but if someone has given 3 to 4 attempts, right, they can start looking for option B as well. Because I have seen students, I have seen mentors, I have seen so many people who have done better with the jobs as well. Because after a point of time, you already know everything. आपको लक्ष्मीकांत रटी हुई है, आपको अपने नोट्स रटे हुए हैं, आपको सोशियोलॉजी पूरी एंड टू एंड आती है. यू जस्ट नीड कंटिन्यूअस इंप्रूवमेंट, थोड़ा 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 थोड़ा. बट व्हेन यू आर सपोज इन ORN, इसमें मैंने देखा एक टाइम के बाद थ्रेशोल्ड मतलब फ्रीक्वेंसी बहुत कम हो जाती है, सो यू आर वेस्टिंग मोर टाइम, राइट? क्योंकि you do not have any other thing, or you are also sometimes very much anxious, depressed, sometimes these things happen. So it can be a good option to look for plan B if again finances are not allowing. If you are again still jawan ho कि यार पूरी आग बची है, then you carry on with your preparation if you want to, but again plan B should also be there. Yes, if someone has given 3 to 4 attempts, this can be a good time to start looking for PCS. But I always say PCS is second UPSC. This is also unpredictable. So try to find something that is from your field. Suppose you are a computer science engineer, you can also look for some government jobs in computer science. There are so many jobs, right? Even you can go back to IT sector if someone is from finance or something like that. Whatever your background is, try to make use of that, because I have seen that थोड़ी सी frequency, productivity सब चीज कम होती है, and when you get back to your job you will get the confidence. Idea is every day हर दिन मर रहे हो आप, because कोई चीज आपके पास शो करने को नहीं है, to your friends, to your family, to yourself, and that is very natural reaction of any human being. You have been in this preparation say for 4 years, 5 years, बोर्ड में टॉप करते थे, कॉलेज में टॉप करते थे, एवरीथिंग वाज हैपनिंग, बट सडनली अब वो बैक टू बैक हिट दे रहा है आपको, राइट? यू आर एट द रॉक बॉटम. So that can be a good starting point if you have already given 3 to 4 attempts. Someone who is just starting, एक ही prelims हुआ है, उसके basis पे मत judge करना. This is not the paper, this is an exception. Do not gauge your preparation based on this paper alone. This is the message I want to convey. ठीक है? चलो, let's move on. So don't waste time. Focus on the revision, consolidation, and yes, you have to start answer writing. Whenever I say anything, either it's optional, either it's ethics, either it's essay, unless and until you are not writing something, you're not doing a favor, at least for this attempt. Okay? Mains mein, they don't know you by your name, they don't know you whether you are a software engineer or a PhD in law, right? They don't care. Idea is they just know you by your answer scripts, right? So you have to show that, and that is a practice, that's a skill that will be there only with practice. The more you practice, शुरुआत में इंट्रोडक्शन ही आधे पेज के होंगे, शुरुआत में यू विल नॉट रिमेंबर द फैक्ट्स, बट इट विल ग्रेजुअली कम व्हेन यू रिवाइज इट मल्टीपल टाइम्स. जब वो प्रैक्टिस करोगे फिर याद रहना शुरू हो जाएगा, मसल मेमोरी में चला जाएगा, राइट? सो दैट्स हाउ. Someone is saying even after the first attempt I am feeling exhausted. That is true. You have worked hard for 2 years. Even if you are attempting now, आपने 1-2 साल पहले से तैयारी शुरू करी है, right? I'll be honest. But don't ask me about the cutoff. I have already said that. So it is exhausting. Take some time off. If you are scoring if you have checked your keys and you are thinking just 20-30 number ही आ रहे हैं, take your time off. Maybe visit Rishikesh or your hometown, whatever you want to. 7 दिन अपने आप को आराम दो, because this is not the time to take rash decisions, right? But what I'll say, if someone is just given the first attempt, don't judge it. Because you may have done everything right, but still this was a kind of paper where some people may have struggled more, right? ये हल्के दिल वालों के लिए नहीं था पेपर, right? I'll come to that only. ठीक है? So if you have given these number of attempts, then you can always focus on PCS as well. ठीक है? So learn from toppers, add value, and try to make your own booklet kind of thing. And these are the ways, philosophical ways, ऐसे में value के हिसाब से you can collect some anecdotes or something and keep revising. ठीक है? And then you move on to GS. जब ये हो जाएगा, then after 15 days you start picking paper by paper. Focus more on GS2 and GS3 because they are already you have covered GS4. So the next most rewarding paper would be GS2. Focus on that. You already are familiar with polity. You just need to have some hang of governance and IR. Take a compilation, revise it, and again write some test. Okay? Again, I'll be coming up with some more videos on these particular aspects. But for now, you just focus on revision of these particular things. 3 things I have told you. Any questions? Any doubts so far? कुछ question है आपके? At the back. आर्टिकल के नोट्स नहीं बनाने हैं, वैल्यूडेशन के नोट्स बनाने हैं. Again, how to do the note making part? If you are from 27, I'll take a session. If I have to be brief about it, you start with what is there. Thematic notes बनाने हैं आपको. suppose as I said, emotional intelligence, intro लिखोगे, body लिखोगे, conclusion लिखोगे, something like that. Similarly, you have suppose basic structure doctrine is there. So what is basic structure doctrine? How it has evolved over the years? What is the significance of the doctrine? What are the issues with the doctrine? How to balance these issues and then how to conclude. अब इसमें कोई आपको स्पेसिफिक कोई कोट आ रहा है किसी आर्टिकल में या फिर कोई अच्छी वैलिडेशन आ रही है, देन यू कैन यूज दैट फ्रॉम मेंस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, यू कैन यूज दैट इन योर notes. That's what you have to do. But yes, keep an eye on the newspaper. It will give you the themes that are important. Suppose drone was not a theme 3 years ago in internal security. We were using that in, say, agriculture. We were using that in some other aspects. But now it's an internal security challenge as well, right? Drone warfare. So you have to have a 2-3 pager notes on that, and then you can revise it multiple times. That's how it is. Okay? I'll cover these things in the upcoming sessions. This is just to give you an idea what you should do, given that you must be feeling very lost. So at least you should have something in front of you, okay, so that you don't waste time. If someone has not begun with the answer writing, there's a very basic thing. Just do it. Just start doing it. Take out your first task today after this lecture would be whatever subject you like, you write one answer of any previous paper, whatever you find easy enough. ठीक है, मे बी जस्ट इंक्लूसिव ग्रोथ क्या होती है वहीं से आंसर लिखना शुरू कर देना. ठीक है, just do it and try to tell me in the comment box whether it will be uploaded on YouTube. You highlighted, sir, I have done that at least, so that I know at least you are going back and again doing something. ठीक है, so use your you have UPSC sheets, answer sheets with you, right? उस पे practice करो. Always practice with the end in mind. End क्या है? You will get 3 hours to write answers. You'll get 7 minutes to write a particular set 10 marker. 2 ही पेज लिखने हैं. You need not do a PhD, right? जितना themes cover कर सकते हो प्रीवियस से उतना ही करना है. मे बी 1 step ahead और क्या पूछ सकते हैं. That's all, right? इससे ज्यादा PhD करने जाओगे इन 2-3 महीनों में सिर्फ नई नई चीजें इकट्ठे करते रहोगे और you will not consolidate. You should not add much new information in this phase as well. Focus should be on consolidation. अगर कुछ subjects ही बचे हैं, obviously you have to read them. क्योंकि mains में you do not have this opportunity to leave many questions, right? If you have left 2 questions in every paper, you are more or less already out of the race, right? If there are bouncers, वो सबके लिए हैं. But again, conventional part वो नहीं छोड़ना है. So you have to tick all the boxes. That is most important. उसमें भी याद रखो, you need not write perfect answers in every question. 10-12 में अच्छे आंसर्स लिखोगे, गुड एक्सीलेंट आंसर्स, नॉट एक्सीलेंट, वेरी गुड आंसर्स. 4-5 में एवरेज लिखोगे, 2-3 में थोड़ा सा आप भी हवाबाजी करके आओगे. दैट्स ओके, राइट? सो दैट्स इज हाउ सिलेक्शन इज डन. यू हैव टू मेक श्योर यू आर चेकिंग ऑल द बॉक्सेस. ठीक है, व्हाट इज द नोट्स फॉर एवरी सब्जेक्ट्स इन डिफरेंट नोटबुक? इट्स ओके, इट्स नॉट अबाउट कि नोटबुक कितनी है आपके पास, हाउ फ्रिक्वेंटली यू कैन रिवाइज इट. दैट्स द होल पॉइंट. एंड नाउ comes the important part that you have to concise them, you have to revise them number of times. If you have not revised something 4 or 5 times in mains, you will not remember it in those exam hall conditions. Okay, chalo, it's your second attempt. You are bracket on, you are not in bracket, you are already clearing, Pratiksha. You go and start preparing for mains. Yes, how to start with these 3 things: kingmakers, ethics, optional, and your essay, right? Start with that. In next week or so, I'll be coming up with some mains plan as well, specific mains plan. Then we'll talk about these language papers. What is your language? Like Hindi है या फिर कोई regional language है? No one has the idea. If you have not given money to pass your 10th examination, you will clear it more or less. But yes, do look at the papers in Hindi, English. I can understand it is more or less on the easier side. हो सकता है आप 200 नंबर नहीं स्कोर करोगे, बट यू विल क्लियर व्हाट इज नीडेड, राइट? सो जस्ट लुक एट द पेपर्स. मैक्सिमम 3 घंटे लगा के लिख लो इफ यू वांट टू राइट 1 पेपर. बट आई डोंट थिंक not many have done specific things if they have scored decently in your boards or something. अगर आ ई ऊ ही लिखना नहीं आ रहा है तो maybe you can practice something, right? Does the well, that is totally different topic, Maitri. We'll discuss something on that in other lectures. Abhi, if you have not consolidated lecture notes, if you are appearing for this mains, I don't know how feasible would that be, but start with most important subjects at least, right? Yes, you underline there. You need not again get everything onto a piece of paper. You keep revising it 4-5 times, because अगर 16 सब्जेक्ट हैं, 16 सब्जेक्ट के आप सिर्फ summary notes बनाने बैठ रहे हो, that will not add much value now. This is not the time. If you are preparing for 27, then yes, you should do that. सैफुद्दीन जी हिंदी है तो I think you will manage. एक बार देख लो पेपर, एक बार लिख के देख लो, मे बी नॉट मेनी पीपल स्ट्रगल, क्योंकि उसमें एक ऐसे आता है जो आप कुछ ना कुछ तो लिख ही दोगे, है ना, थोड़ा सा कुछ पैसे जाता है ऑल दैट, तो थिंग्स आर डूएबल. कितने मार्क्स आए थे सैफुद्दीन किसी भी बोर्ड में, ये सीबीएसई यूपी व्हाटएवर इट वाज? 1 पेजेस 100 में से, राइट? हाँ, वेरी गुड स्कोर, you're a topper. Don't worry, हो जाएगा, है ना, देख लेना एक बार पेपर, हो जाता है. Is the upcoming class is curated by the aspirants who have attempted? देखो, there are so many people, there are so many types of aspirants. Someone who is just starting, someone who is already well into the preparation, अभी मेंस के लिए करेंगे, तो उसके हिसाब से I'll try to come up with these. ठीक है सौम्या, चलो. So हाँ, अभी आपने ये कर लिया, लिखना शुरू किया, then learn from the mistakes. Every day you be your own critic. क्या ये मैंने introduction definition से शुरू कर दिया था. How can I make it better? Was there any current event that I could link this particular question to? क्या कोई रिपोर्ट थी, क्या कोई डेटा था, कोई जजमेंट था, whatever it was, right? To you be a critic, because if you give that paper to your first friend, that friend is also maybe appearing for mains, तो थोड़ा बैकफायर भी कर सकता है. बट एट द सेम टाइम इफ यू आर गिविंग इट टू अ मेंटर, मेंटर विल बी देयर, दे विल give you very specific suggestion, but you are with yourself 24/7, so you can actually analyze a lot of things. But yes, there is a lot of role of mentors as well, because they will give you the experience of all the candidates over the years, their experiences as well. Concisely, देखो, रॉजर फेडरर को किसी ने कभी खेलते देखा है? Anyone? और सचिन की straight drive or something, anything? मेसी को ड्रिबल करते देखा हो, whatever. So idea is, it's not कि एक दिन में वो आ जाएगी ड्रिबलिंग, एक दिन में कंसाइजनेस नहीं आती है कंचन, right? What you have to understand is, this is a skill and you will acquire that skill the more you practice that skill, right? तो पहले वो 3 ही लाइन में निकलेगा जो होता है, right? And that's why I'm asking you to read newspapers as well, क्योंकि कोई चीज जो कीवर्ड से लिखी जा सकती है, सपोज यू वांट टू टेल कि यार वुमेन की बहुत हालत खराब है, राइट? अगेन दे कम टू ऑफिस, खाना बना के आते हैं, फिर पूरा काम करते हैं, फिर घर जाके अगेन एवरी रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी इज ऑन देयर शोल्डर्स. You just write dual burden or even triple burden for that, right? Instead of over explaining. So every subject has their own vocabulary, right? So whenever you find some good word that you can use, so make a list of keywords of that particular subject as well. And this is a very useful exercise. If you have 1 page keyword with you and you can recycle it again and again, the answers will move a lot higher, right? So make a use of keywords, make list of keywords as well that you can use frequently for every subject. IR की अपनी vocabulary होती है. जब जयशंकर साहब बोलते हैं तो सुनना अच्छा लगता है, right? जब मैं बोलूंगा शायद IR पे तो आपको सुनना नहीं अच्छा लगेगा, right? That's the whole point. So they use the phrases, they use the language of that particular subject altogether. ठीक है? Right, चलो. Not still. कार्तिक जी, 4th attempt है, lengthy था, difficult था. I hope बट फिर भी आपका हो जाएगा. क्या मतलब what are you feeling? Like बिल्कुल ही खराब हो रहा है या फिर there is a chance? If there is a chance, don't again waste your time. Go back to the mains preparation. It will help you, right? देखो, idea is if your notes are something that you can solve previous year questions. अगर previous year papers questions हो रहे हैं उसमें से 70-80%, then you are good to go. बट अभी ऐसा है कि अगर नोट्स ही मेरे 2-2 पेज के हैं, राइट मोहन, और बहुत सारी चीजें अगर कवर्ड ही नहीं है, तो मे बी यू हैव टू रेफर समथिंग, सम स्पेसिफिक नोट्स फॉर मीन्स. सपोज वाजीराम अपना स्मैशर्स लाता है, यू कैन फाइंड फॉर अदर इंस्टीट्यूट्स एज वेल इफ यू वांट टू, राइट? बट हर टॉपिक पे यू शुड हैव सम कोहेरेंट रेलेवेंट data ideas, right, at a particular place, so that you can revise it multiple times. अगर वो 10 जगह बिखरा होगा तो obviously it will be difficult to revise per se. ठीक है? But don't overdo it. If you have done for particular subjects, you keep with that. Maybe you have not done 4 subjects altogether, then you start from there itself. ठीक है? चलो. So I was talking about answer writing. So get the feedback. So if you want to start, maybe start with writing one answer, two answers, three answers daily. After a week, you graduate to maybe three answers daily. After the results are there, you join a particular program, right? So we have step up program as well. Other, you can also join anything else that you want to, but idea is you write, you get the feedback. That is more important. Okay, chalo. So if you can't do anything, at least focus. I have seen students who are struggling in mains a lot, right? लगातार 2 बार 3 बार मेंस क्लियर नहीं हो रहा था, एंड दे अडॉप्टेड दिस हैबिट कि यार 1 घंटा में आंसर्स लिखूंगा डेली. Just write answers daily for 1 hour and then evaluate it, take the feedback. It improves a lot, right? So if you have been that student who has struggled in that sense, you can adopt any of the 3 strategies for answer writing per se. Okay? चलो, and always remember, don't wait for the perfect answer, right? Don't wait कि मैं perfect answer ही लिखूंगा तभी लिखूंगा, right? So it will never happen, right? So start writing, that's the whole point. ठीक है? What you have to keep in mind when you are going in the next phase. So first is your first target in answer writing, because it is for those who are appearing for this mains, who will be preparing for this mains. First and most important target would be to complete the paper in 3 hours, right? This likh lo. I have seen very, very good students who could not make it to the list just because they could not complete the paper itself. Best answers nahi likhne har answer mein. It's okay. Sometimes if you are left with say 5 answers and you are just having 10 minutes left with you, maybe skip the introductions altogether. That's okay. First idea is to convey to the examiner कि मैंने सारे लिखे, right? I am still in the race. ठीक है? ठीक है? Then obviously you can update your content as per the requirement. Focus more on validation part, क्योंकि जो मेंस दे रहे हैं आइडिया सबके पास होने वाले हैं. The kind of validation that you will be doing will make all the difference. But again, mains is specific. I'll come up with more lectures to help you out with that. If someone is very new, writing for the first time mains, then focus on reverse engineering, right? So learn from the previous papers. Focus on specific subjects. Suppose you are starting now. So once your results are out, you first focus on lower hanging fruits. Ki I read economy all the year, but I know economy से finally कितने marks के आता है, right? Internal security से हर साल 50 नंबर आते हैं, and you can always predict 3 out of 4 questions, right? एक आध इधर उधर जो न्यूज में होगा वो आ जाएगा. Otherwise you always know कि cyber security, left wing extremism, terrorism, these are very important themes that you have to consider. तो वहां से start करो, so that you can save some time in exam hall. You already know left wing extremism के रीजंस क्या है, या फिर अभी देयर इज अ करंट अभी शायद अमित शाह सर ने बोला था कि वी हैव एलिमिनेटेड लेफ्ट विंग एक्सट्रीमिज्म, राइट? या एमएचए की रिपोर्ट है इतना डाउन हो चुका है, राइट? सो व्हाट आर द रीजंस फॉर दैट? हैव समाधान डॉक्ट्रिन कंट्रीब्यूटेड टू दैट? रिहैबिलिटेशन पॉलिसी कैसी वर्क करें, समथिंग लाइक दैट. ठीक है? सो उस बेसिस पे करो. रिकरिंग थीम्स को पहले तैयार करोगे. Spot the trends, how it is shifting, right? थोड़ा सा analytical हो गया है पेपर. Specifically if I talk about ethics, ethics is not just कि emotional intelligence क्या है, right? They will give you a scenario. अब इसको आप कैसे navigate करते हो, right? So application ज़्यादा आएगा. उसके लिए you need to have good conceptual understanding as well. It's not like कि मैंने quotes इकट्ठे कर लिए, मैंने example इकट्ठे कर लिए. वो बहुत hollow answers होते हैं. And everyone is writing the same thing. जो खेम का हर दूसरे आंसर में आने वाला है. So examiner, initially it was a validation. Say you talk about 16, 17, it was a validation कि आप हर point के साथ substantiate कर रहे हो. But now everyone knows the same thing. गांधी, बुद्धा, मदर टेरेसा कब तक चलाओगे, right? So you have to update yourself in that sense. ठीक है? Again, use your test and previous year papers very smartly. But I know I have said all these things. Still, if anyone faces these issues कि अभी consistency नहीं आ रही, specifically for someone who is going to prepare for 27 as well, है ना? तो कंसिस्टेंसी नहीं आ रही है, अकाउंटेबिलिटी नहीं हो पाती है, 5 दिन पढ़ता हूँ फिर 1 महीना नहीं पढ़ता हूँ, ऑल दैट. सो वी हैव स्टेप अप मेंटरशिप प्रोग्राम एज वेल. वी कवर एवरीथिंग एंड टू एंड फॉर योर जीएस मेंटरशिप. You have so many things. You will get personalized mentor, IAS IPS sessions होते हैं so that they can guide you, right? You will have previous analysis sessions, CSAT strengthening sessions, in-house material, again lectures on answer writing, all the test series. Every week you will get a test. You have a target, you get a test, either write prelims or mains test, get it evaluated, discuss with your mentor, improve, right? So whatever I have philosophy I have conveyed, that is applied in step-up mentorship as well. So you can choose that. And again, over the years, so many toppers have been there from them, right? So you can scan this QR code, and if you have any questions, we can deal with that. Now I'm opening the floor to any questions you are left with, so that I can discuss that. Any questions from your end? We'll look into that sort of. Not more. If you are focusing on 26 mains manas, so need not focus more on collecting the resources, right? Pick out a resource. If you have done something, you have your notes, revise it, and then link it with the current affair magazine that you have, right? This is something that you can do. Reno, I'm very sorry, I have zero idea about economics optional. I'm not the right person for that. We'll be launching some new programs near future. You can start with any compilation for ethics. There's no issue in that. You said choose an easy optional. I never said this to choose an easy option. Optional that you are comfortable with, right? Because at least you have to read that optional for 1 or 2 years. If you're not enjoying something, you cannot read that bar ek hi cheez, ठीक है? You should be scared. Sunil is saying, sir, I'm appearing for 27 and I'm very scared of this paper. You should be scared, but at the same time, you have to double down on the efforts part, right? Whatever I have said in this whole lecture, the mindset changes, ignite the curiosity that you need for this examination, वो थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा matter करेगा to tackle this. But I'm not very sure, हो सकता है अगले साल normal अपने वापस आ जाए, 25 वाले उस पे आ जाए. अगर इसमें आप देखना एक बार, maybe you have attempted 25, people were able to do decently well there, right? This was more or less conventional paper. So this was a more, it was an outlier per se. So don't judge your preparation just by that, okay? More or less everything is covered from the newspapers. So this is more or less sufficient if you are able to do that regularly, right? And take everything out of it. How many questions should be attended? Just totally up to you. If someone is having very good accuracy, so they can attempt lesser number of questions. But I always suggest. So Avinash is saying, this is his opinion, कि in these kinds of papers you are never sure, right? कि how many questions you are going to get it correct. So it's better to attempt more. But again, this is his philosophy, and it has worked for him, and it has worked for some others as well. But idea is, if you're not sure, हार तो रहे ही हो. अब 20 क्वेश्चन हो रहे हैं तो सिलेक्शन तो नहीं हो रहा उससे, right? So you have to take that attempt further. So I always suggest कि 75 to 90 वाली range you can think of, right? Whatever works in that examination. 90, 92 भी जा सकता है. That's not an issue, है ना? मैंने जैसे बताया, for me it was always 95 plus. That was always there. But again, I had that. I used to solve 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 questions at least in the initial attempt. So I knew कि यार ये सारी चीजें covered है, right? If someone is not doing that and और फिर उसके बाद ज़्यादा attempt कर रहा है तो it can backfire, ठीक है? Because फिर उसके बाद intelligent guessing ज़्यादा work करती है आपकी, because you already have the base. Prachi, for sociology optional, you want to ask about, can you give me a specific issue? Because sociology itself is a very broad thing. So what exactly do you want to understand? What is the views on opportunity cost of the time trade-off of an offline versus online? There's no time trade-off. In fact, you may gain more if you are consistent, right? It's not. It totally depends on you. Suppose I am a student who thrives in pressure environment, right? मुझे पता है कि कंपटीशन देख के मैं ज़्यादा अच्छा परफॉर्म करता हूँ, राइट? आई सी माई फ्रेंड, पहले मैं रात में 9 बजे सो जाता था, सपोज, इमेजिन मी, राइट? आई यूज टू स्लीप एट 8 PM, बट मुझे रूममेट मिला एक बहुत अच्छा, ही यूज टू स्टडी टिल से 2 AM, रोज पढ़ता था, ऐसे पट्टा वट्टा बांध के पढ़ रहा है ना? तो इफ यू आर समवन हु थ्राइव्स इन दैट एनवायरनमेंट, क्या मुझे भी पढ़ना है और आई विल डू बेटर, तो इट इज गोइंग टू वर्क फॉर यू इन द ऑफलाइन मोड. If you are someone, I want distraction-free life, sorted life, मम्मी पापा पास में हो बात करने के लिए, खाना भी मिल रहा है, Indian parents, मतलब most loving parents in the world, I'll say, है ना? They sacrifice everything, right? तो हर चीज सॉर्ट करके देते हैं आपको, तो योर लाइफ इज वेरी मच ईजियर. I have a lot of friends in US and all. They have to do everything on their own, right? सब्जी खुद काट रहे हैं, सब खुद लेने जाना, तो it becomes problematic for people who are, I'll say, spoiled brats, right? हमेशा घर वालों ने कुछ करके दिया है. तो again, for that, in that sense, you can use it because they have been gracious enough. So it may work for you. For me, idea is you give 9-10 hours daily throughout the year wherever you are. If you are in Zurich or New York or London or Bangalore or Delhi, doesn't matter, right? And that's why I offer this step up mentorship in both the modes, and there are so many students who are doing online and doing well as well, right? There's no issue in that. Anything is a very good optional. You have a great teacher, Mukul Pathak sir of psychology, right? So there's wonderful optional, wonderful teacher. It totally depends on you, whether you enjoy it. If you want to understand humans brains better, कि कैसे दिमाग काम करता है सर का, मेरा, इनका, right? So again, you may appreciate it, but again, I don't know much about that. But what I can say is, choose an option that excites you, right? अगर नींद आ रही है पढ़ते पढ़ते 2 घंटे पढ़े नहीं और फिर नींद आना शुरू हो गई, तो it is not for you. You better join a program, right? Suppose we have so many programs in Vajiram. You can also join Step Up Mentorship, right? If you want specific feedback for your mentors, as I said, what Step Up is doing is basically we are solving the most important problems in the community, right? So first important problem, most important thing that yes, Mukul sir actually can make anything interesting and in a very good way, right? He is exceptional. I have not seen better teacher than him, genuinely, right? So idea is, first is you do not have structure to your preparation. अभी भैया ने कुछ बोल दिया, सर ने कुछ बोल दिया, टॉपर ने कुछ बोल दिया, you change your sources, you go on to do something else. तो उसमें आप कभी सोशल पढ़ रहे हो, कभी इकोनॉमी पढ़ रहे हो, कभी एथिक्स पढ़ रहे हो, you do not know what you want to do, right? तो कुछ भी शुरू सब करते हो, खत्म कुछ नहीं करते. That's the problem, right? तो स्ट्रक्चर नहीं होता, डायरेक्शन नहीं होती. This is the biggest flaw. Then you have people are not consistent. People join all the things, all the programs, all the videos, all the test series in the world, but they cannot produce ranks because of this thing. They are not consistent. There is no accountability, right? UPSC tough क्यों है? Because of the gestation period. Gestation period इतना लंबा है, it is difficult to be disciplined in that whole period, right? और अगर आपने, if you lose two months, right? From mains point of view, इस prelims के लिए तो maybe you study anything and you never know. But idea is, in general thing, if you lose 2 months, you will get these 2 months back in next year only, if God is gracious enough, right? So idea is you cannot lose the momentum. So consistency is very important. I have seen very good students, again, top class students still not qualifying because they were not consistent. And I have seen people who started with 17 marks and go on to become officers because they were consistent and had that learning aptitude. Okay? And finally, then you have application. So after, देखो 70-80% जनता यहीं पे धराशायी हो जाती है, right? They do not have structure to their preparation. They cannot work consistently. So whatever 10 lakh students you have, hardly 50,000 qualify to the third phase. That is application of whatever you are learning. If you have read Lakshmikant, if you're not practicing previous year papers, if you're not solving tests, you're fooling yourself. Maybe you are that one unique genius who understand everything, Sheldon or something, I don't know, right? Chitty. But idea is all the other normal mortal human beings need to apply. Then only they will remember better, right? So application is very much needed. So what happens in step up mentorship is you will get a one-to-one mentor, again very qualified mentor. So they will give you a target for a week, and then based on the target, you will attempt a test at the end of the week, either prelims test or mains test, right? In between, every 3 to 4 days, they are going to make a call to you to see how you are doing. If you are facing any issues, if you have any doubts, you discuss with your mentor, right? This is what we do from our end so that you are consistent. अगर कोई बच्चा फोन ही नहीं उठाता, मिलने ही नहीं आता, तो मैं घर जाके तो नहीं पढ़ा सकता ना. So that's the problem of the mentors. So idea is you do this and it will give you the maximum chance for success in that sense. ठीक है? But again, I always say this, I have put in the system, कितना भी अच्छा system हो, कितने भी अच्छे mentors हो, कितने भी अच्छा program हो, everything boils down to you. If you are not committed, if you're not disciplined, if you're not taking the efforts to write tests, take the feedback, learn, no one can help you. ठीक है? Any other question? Very much needed, Kalpana, Kamalapa, because the idea is in your GS Foundation, what happens is there's a broadcast model, right? Wonderful teachers, as I said, Mukul Pathak sir, जब ethics पढ़ाएंगे बहुत मजा आएगा. But at the same time, Pathak sir may not know, or any other faculty, because of the sheer number of students, they may not know कि अविनाश के answers में क्या issue है, right? इस हफ्ते उनकी क्या इशू आया, प्रीलिम्स में उनका क्या इशू है, बिकॉज ऑफ sheer number of students. So you need a specific mentor that can handhold you, that can see through you कि अभी आपके ये इश्यूज हैं, that you have to correct, और इसको ऐसे करेक्ट करना है. So that's why it's always, in my opinion, it's always better to have a mentor to guide you. ठीक है? कोई और क्वेश्चन है आपके ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट्स? कौन सा क्वेश्चन है देविका? आई एम नॉट एबल टू सी दैट. Try to consolidate whatever you have done and try to fill the gaps. देखो Aditi, what happens is ना, UPSC is not class 10th examination कि ये syllabus है, यही आएगा. What happens is एक साल का current affairs is must, but contemporary understanding is very important. अभी 16th फाइनेंस कमीशन को 15th फाइनेंस कमीशन के अचीवमेंट्स पूछ लें, आपसे कुछ स्पेसिफिक चीजें पूछ लें, नो वन नोस, राइट? एक बार उन्होंने कैंपा इतने दिन बाद पूछा था, राइट? सो इट्स आइदर इन प्रीलिम्स और इन मेंस. तो आप प्रीलिम्स का पेपर भी उठा के देख लो, इट्स नॉट कि एक ही साल की न्यूज आई है, राइट? कंटेम्परेरी न्यूज आती है. ठीक है? और बताइए, एनीथिंग एल्स दैट यू वांट मी टू डिस्कस? डोंट यू थिंक यूपीएससी हैज what signal are you talking about? The idea is, always remember, I always say this, the exam has to be fair, and it has to be fair to everyone. And in one sense, this prelims paper has led that level playing field to everyone. But it's not like anarchy फैला दो यार. It's not like that. अगर चीजें हैं तो वो सबके लिए टफ हो सकती हैं. इट शुड नॉट कि मैं क्या पढ़ूं मुझे पता ही नहीं ना. आई डोंट हैव एनी आइडिया पर से इन दैट सेंस. इफ समवन इज स्टार्टिंग, अगर कोई बिल्कुल स्टार्ट कर रहा है तो उसको थोड़ा प्रॉब्लम होगा इस पेपर को देख के. अदरवाइज अगर 25 के पेपर को देखो, दे विल गेट टू अंडरस्टैंड क्योंकि यार ये पॉलिटी से इतने क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, ये मेरे इस बेसिक चीज से हो जाएंगे, इकोनॉमी से हो जाएंगे, ज्योग्राफी हो जाएंगे. यहाँ पे वो पॉलिटी से क्वेश्चन 7-8 मिलेंगे, उसमें भी लक्ष्मीकांत से मिले ना मिले, यू नेवर नो. 3-4 क्वेश्चन हार्डली भी नहीं होंगे. ठीक है? तो दैट्स द इशू विद दिस पर्टिकुलर पेपर. बट अगेन, वी शुड नॉट बी जजमेंटल पर से. अभी कर लिया जितना करना था. Yes. Yes. So whatever is there, it's equal for everyone. You have to adapt, and that's why don't be judgmental to this paper. I understand. जितना भी मैंने भी बोला है, आपने भी बोला है, but let's keep it at that. Idea is let's learn what we can learn from this paper, right? तो वो ज़्यादा important है. Okay, hold on. Expect the unexpected and prepare yourself accordingly. It's that simple. You have, देखो मैंने फिर से बताया आपको, 15,000 12,000 वो स्टूडेंट्स अभी भी लेंगे. हो सकता है वो IAS का भी जो मान लो पिछली बार 104 गया है, हो सकता है वो 94 आ जाए. नो वन नोस. बट स्टूडेंट्स तो रहेंगे ना, आप ही में से सेलेक्ट होंगे. यू हैव टू बी बेटर देन योर नेबर, दैट्स ऑल, राइट? अगर वो पैनिक करके बिल्कुल ही छोड़ के आ गया तो आपको वहां पे डटे रहना है, फाइट करना है, प्ले ऑन योर स्ट्रेंथ्स, और थोड़ा बहुत जो हम सीखते हैं वो उसको अप्लाई करना है. एंड बी मोर क्यूरियस सो दैट यू आर मोर अवेयर. As I said, न्यूज़पेपर का थोड़ा रोल है, ज्यादा है, राइट? आप अवेयरनेस को बढ़ाओ बस. We'll come to that in because of the limited time. I can only, and still it's been 1.5 hours. So I'll come up with more lectures, more session for mains as well. But abhi ke liye, if you want any specific thing, then you can ask me. Yes, please. Sorry. I always say there are questions to be left. That was one of them. आते हैं, छोड़ो ना. I don't chase each and every question. If you have basic idea, then attempt it. अगर आप eliminate करके 2 तक आप आते हो, attempt कर लो. Maths may favor you. But at the same time कोई idea नहीं तो छोड़ दो ना. But yes, ये याद रखो, बेसिक चीजें गलत ना हो. और फिर जो हो सकते हैं, सपोज देयर वाज दिस क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स वाला, राइट? हमें पता है कि यूपीएससी की आदत है थोड़ी सी फैक्ट्स को, डेटा को थोड़ा सा इधर उधर कर देता है। याद है तो बिल्कुल अच्छा है, नहीं याद है तो कम से कम वहां से एलिमिनेट कर दो, है ना? कोलंबो प्रोसेस है, बाइंडिंग है, नहीं है, इतना बेसिक भी आइडिया होगा तो आप निकाल ले जाओगे, है ना? ऑप्शन एलिमिनेशन स्टिल वर्क्स, बहुत सारी चीजें। यस, हाउ टू improve communication skill? Okay, who considers himself or herself better at communication in this class? Anyone? Vinash, do you consider yourself? Okay, there are two things. This is very good that you understand what your weakness is. Not weakness per se, but ideas where you can improve more, right? So communication is something, what is it? A skill. You'll watch, again, anyone who is good at communication, they started from zero only, right? So first thing is you align your thoughts कि मैं क्या बोलना चाहती हूँ, उसको एक शब्द में पहले अपना सोचा करो। जब घर पे बैठे हो ना, इफ आई हैव टू कम्युनिकेट दिस टू पापा या मामा, तो मैं इस तरह से बोलूंगी, छोटा कंसाइज रखूंगी। देन यू वॉच पीपल, सपोज मैं ये हैंड जेस्चर कर रहा हूँ, सपोज, सो इट्स नॉट इनहेरेंट, मैं बैठता हूं तो ऐसे ही बैठूंगा, बट जब मैं कम्युनिकेट करना चाहता हूं तो आई एम वर्किंग ऑन दैट कि एटलीस्ट आई शुड हैव मोर बेटर हैंड जेस्चर्स, राइट? तो ये ओवरऑल कम्युनिकेशन की बातें हैं। इफ यू वांट यू कैन लिसन टू सम पीपल हु आर गुड एट कम्युनिकेटिंग, यू कैन, बट राइट नाउ focus should be on means. Yes, you are good that you are thinking about the interview per se, right? तो start करो, read more, watch interviews more. Suppose how Jaishankar sir communicates, he is very good. शशि थरूर को तो नहीं कॉपी करना है, बट है ना? हाँ,
कम्युनिकेशन का इंपॉर्टेंट रोल होता है आपकी इमोशनल हेल्थ का। यदि इमोशनली आप साउंड है ना, तो आप लोगों को आराम से सुनेंगे, आराम से रिप्लाई करेंगे, और अंदर यदि आपकी हलचल है तो आप ना सुनेंगे, ना बोलेंगे, ना देखेंगे,
सही,
तो अपने ही बोलेंगे, अपने ही सुनेंगे।
very important, very good observation. So someone named Avinash is telling a very important point. The more you are calm, right? Have you seen someone, एक हमारी हिंदी में कहावत होती है, अदरी गगरे छल छल जाए, something like that, right? So basically if you know less you will blabber a lot, right? If you know more, if you have मतलब अपने पे confidence है, if you are calm, then you will speak very calmly, है ना? वही आदि communication है। तो जब if your thoughts are clear, then you can always convey better. इसलिए पहले अपने से शुरुआत करो। Maybe write a diary, right? And it actually helps in your essay as well, right? You write a diary, what I'm going to do today or how I felt today. वो लिखो, आधे पेज में लिखो, and very concisely that you want to communicate to yourself. Then see how I'm expressing. Then you start recording yourself. Maybe after a month or so, you stand in front of a mirror, you have your phone with you, you record yourself. Okay, this is how I'll say these things, right? Then maybe take a feedback from your dear friend, है ना? कोई मजाक बनाता तो बनाने दो, that's okay. That's how you improve, ठीक है? But you have to take the first step, and I'm very grateful that you put up this point, and it is difficult for the people to actually appreciate कि यार हाँ ये भी एक challenge है. But good thing is you understand that you have to improve on that, right? So again, very good. Yes. Yes, Shala, what's your issue? What's your doubt? Always देखो, I always say कि if you get a feedback, regular basis feedback, or if you can get a quality feedback, if someone is there, आपका बहुत अच्छा दोस्त है और सर्विसेज में है और आपको टाइम दे पा रहा है, तो you can take the feedback from them as well. But at the same time you have to understand, कभी-कभी क्या होता है, सिलेक्शन पहली बार में हो गया, they don't know the issues. दूसरी बात, they don't have the time, right? कि आपको वो 2 घंटे दें बैठ के और बताएं कि ये इशू है और वो हर हफ्ते करना है, और दे हैव देयर ओन जॉब, वो बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है। अब किसी और से जिसने इस चीज की तैयारी नहीं करी है उससे फीडबैक लेना बहुत मुश्किल है ना? तो थोड़ा सा डिजास्टर भी हो सकता है, राइट? क्योंकि सम पीपल जस्ट पुट देयर इनसिक्योरिटीज ऑन यू, तो वो भी नहीं करना है। तो हैव एक्सपीरियंस मेंटर्स विद यू हु कैन सजेस्ट व्हाट इज नीडेड टू इंप्रूव, राइट? That's what I said. I'm sure about CSET, that's very good, Shala, but not about GS. But again, as I said, this session, if you have not understood, go back and watch it. Next 15 days, don't focus on anything else, just focus on optional, ethics, and maybe essay. Write one essay, this is your target. After you have done writing one essay, comment in the comment box. This will ensure the accountability on your end. ठीक है, I am Shala, I will be going to write this essay. right? First write the comment, and when you have completed that, do that. So it will help you कि okay, I have communicated in online platform कि I'll do that, तो थोड़ी शर्म आएगी शायद नहीं होगा तो, right? It's a good attempt. Don't worry about it, Vijay. It's a good attempt, but at the same time now don't focus on keys or whatever. Even if UPSC releases the key, don't bother, right? क्योंकि अगर कम होगा फिर सोचोगे यार ये 70 आए, अब क्या करें, फिर 10 दिन उसमें जाएंगे, वो नहीं करना है, ठीक है? So this is the session that I wanted to take so that you don't waste your time now. एक आध दिन मुझे भी पता है थोड़ा सा रोना होता है, दोस्तों को सुनाना होता है, घर वालों को चीजें बतानी होती है, इट्स ओके, बट अभी से आज शाम से यू मेक अ न्यू बिगिनिंग, यू मेक अ न्यू स्टार्ट, और कल का भी वेट नहीं करना, ऐसा नहीं है कल से पढ़ूंगा, वो कल का भी नहीं आएगा, राइट? सो व्हाट यू डू इज मे बी पिक आउट अ टॉपिक टुडे ऑफ एथिक्स एंड जस्ट डू दैट, राइट एन आंसर इन दी at the night. If you write the answer, I'll try to give the feedback on YouTube as well. That I can do. Okay. CSAT has been very much doable. Yes, thank you for that. But GS frustrated you, not just you. This is for everyone. They were checking whether you will be calm there or frustrated, right? That was the point. Okay. Anything else? Anything that you want to discuss or ask or highlight? But in CSAT, I scored 56, but this time I don't know how again I clear. Paper was extremely tough. Baloch, you go back, you watch in the video section of Vajiram and Ravi. I had taken one session on CSAT. I gave you some specific inputs ki, okay, at least prepare this, क्योंकि 15 days were left. उसमें से भी if you solve दो ना कि 10-12 क्वेश्चन क्वांट उसके वहीं से आ जाएंगे, वो 30 मिनट के लेक्चर से. So it's not like you cannot predict the things. कि suppose x square y वाला है, right? Even है, odd है, you can obviously derive. उसके नीचे वाला क्वेश्चन है, some number is given, you just factorize that, prime number आएगा, you will get, ठीक है, इससे हो जाएगा मेरा काम, right? Similarly, you have number of zeros, 10 raised to power m into 1000. So you will understand, okay, इसमें इतने 5s आ रहे हैं, this is how many zeros I'll get. So it's not like nothing was predictable. मतलब it was difficult, I'm not saying that, but it was not like unpredictable apart. ठीक है? Oh no, target 2030. Nikhil, my dear boy, what the hell are you doing? Don't do that. Which standard are you in? Not even year. Which standard are you in? 12th? 11th? What? UPSC answer key will be there today or tomorrow maximum. They have to open the first the correction window. So before that they will obviously give the answer key. But I'll say जनहित में करना हो representation डालने के लिए तो that's okay. Otherwise I don't know. I don't suggest that. क्योंकि वो आपकी mental peace से, जैसा अविनाश ने बताया, mental peace is more important and I have been communicating the very same thing. Be calm. थोड़ा सा balance लाओ उस चीज में. क्या क्वेश्चन है कार्तिक जी आपका? Shella, you can scan this QR code. They will help you connect with me if you want to, right? Otherwise, I am heading a step up mentorship program, 7V Vajiram and Ravi 3rd floor. You can come and meet me. There's no issue in that. ठीक है? कोई और क्वेश्चन है? I think it is done. Agriculture के बारे में I do not have much idea, but it's a very scoring optional as well. जिनको पसंद है बहुत अच्छा optional है, मजा आना चाहिए आपको. निखिल अगर फर्स्ट ईयर में हो तो I'll say कि start with the basic things like maybe geography NCERT 11th. अगर हिस्ट्री की लक्ष्मीकांत वो बंदो स्पेक्ट्रम भी नहीं समझ आ रही है, you can go back to बिपिन चंद्र because you have time, right? वो कहानी की तरह से है, it's a good read. आइडियोलॉजी की बात नहीं करूंगा, बट इट्स अ गुड रीड, वेल रिटन बुक, राइट? तो उससे स्टोरी बन जाएगी आपके दिमाग में, राइट? अदरवाइज इफ यू वांट टू चेक कि यार कौन सा ऑप्शनल बेटर है, तो यू कैन स्टार्ट विद पर्टिकुलर ऑप्शनल बुक. सपोज सोशियोलॉजी के लिए एंथनी गिडेंस की आती है इंट्रोड्यूसिंग सोशियोलॉजी, बहुत अच्छी बुक है, शायद ऑप्शनल में काम नहीं आएगी, बट इट विल हेल्प यू अ लॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग सोशियोलॉजी. तो वो लैंग्वेज और कैसा 2 चैप्टर पढ़ के समझ आ जाएगा वेदर यू आर, ठीक है? प्लीज. ऑलराइट, ठीक है. और कुछ? I'm not the right person for that, Ritik. You can go to 4th floor on 7B Vajiram and Ravi. They will help you out with that. ठीक है? ठीक है निखिल, you carry on with that. So थोड़ा थोड़ा ऑप्शनल पढ़ते रहो. Start with a particular GS subject. I'll be coming up with a session on how to do the self study, specifically if you are in college or working professional. उसमें एक बार पूरा डिटेल में डिस्कस करेंगे. ठीक है, मतलब for the time being you start with that. Lack of practice, Karthik. Idea is you sometimes, what I'll say is, एग्जाम एनवायरनमेंट थोड़ा सा अलग होता है. उसमें अगर ब्रेन फॉग आ रहा है, मे बी यू हैव नॉट प्रिपेयर्ड योरसेल्फ फॉर दैट फाइनल, राइट. आई ऑलवेज गिव द एग्जांपल ऑफ सचिन तेंदुलकर एंड विराट कोहली. बाय द वे, सचिन इज गॉड, है ना, सो देयर इज नो कंपैरिजन, बट एट द सेम टाइम विराट कोहली इज मच बेटर इन चेजिंग, स्पेसिफिकली इन बिग इवेंट्स, राइट. Sachin used to falter. So I'm not saying he was not in the same league, but idea is the more you are detaching yourself. And with Sachin there was the issue कि सारे 100 करोड़ लोगों की एक्सपेक्टेशन उन्हीं पे थी. अभी विराट कोहली आउट हो जाता था, रोहित शर्मा होता था, हार्दिक पांड्या होता था, सूर्य कुमार यादव होता था, एंड ऑल दैट. सचिन आउट होता था तो सचिन ही होता था. पीपल यूज्ड टू क्लोज द टीवीज इटसेल्फ, राइट. यही चीज है, आपकी एक्सपेक्टेशन इतनी ज्यादा ना हो उस चीज से. यू डू इट वेरी कामली, इट्स जस्ट एन एग्जाम. जब वो टेस्ट देते हो तो वो भी यही रखो कि यार दिस इज एन एग्जाम, मेरे को अपने को माइंड को ट्रेन करना है कि अगले दिन 9 बजे भी मैं यही कर रहा हूँ. जैसे अविनाश है, सपोज ही यूज्ड टू सॉल्व मेनी मॉक्स, मतलब कम से कम क्वेश्चंस करते हैं, राइट. आई यूज्ड टू सॉल्व ह्यूज नंबर ऑफ मॉक्स. द आइडिया वाज नॉट जस्ट द कंटेंट पार्ट बट टू ट्रेन माय माइंड पर से, यार इट्स जस्ट अनदर डे, और नॉर्मल कैजुअल अपना जाओ, सिंसियर रहो, बट इट्स नॉट कि बहुत सीरियस होना है, तो ब्रेन फॉग कम होगा, राइट. ऑब्वियसली उसके लिए फिर तैयारी भी करनी है, उससे पहले प्रैक्टिस ज़्यादा जरूरी है. ठीक है, तो प्रैक्टिस लॉट, दैट्स द होल पॉइंट. कोई बैच अभी तो नहीं है निखिल, बट आई पुट इन योर रिक्वेस्ट फॉर 2030, राइट. I'll put in that. But what I'll say is you have a very good edge of all the others. There are so many people who, like me, start very late, right? So जॉब वॉब करके ये सब समझ आता है, and all that. So you are very good. मतलब I respect you. You have the clarity कि आपको अभी से पता है क्या करना है. Now you do one thing. You either join foundation or step up mentorship, so that a specific mentor is there with you to guide you in specific aspects of the preparation, right? So you will know कि यार जो normal इंसान target 7 दिन में करता है, मे बी आप 10 दिन ले लेना, उसके लिए 15 दिन ले लेना, बट यू विल हैव समथिंग इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू एंड यू विल हैव सम ऑब्जेक्टिव क्राइटेरिया टू प्रोसीड. ऐसा ना हो कि कॉलेज के एग्जाम्स आए या फिर ये हो गया, फेस्ट हो गया, तो मेरी प्रिपरेशन पूरी चली गई. तो थोड़ा सा डिसिप्लिन इनकलकेट करो. अभी के लिए न्यूज़पेपर्स पढ़ना शुरू कर दो, है ना. स्टार्ट विद दैट. अदरवाइज यू कैन कॉन्टैक्ट मी, वी विल डिस्कस इन मोर डिटेल. दिस द कैपेसिटी
है ना, तो पहले बॉक्सिंग करते थे, स्विमिंग करते थे, 6 महीने बाद वेट लिफ्टिंग
Yes.
जाते थे.
Yes.
शुरुआत से जाके कमर पे हुआ.
That's what. तो इसीलिए अगेन यू स्टार्ट विद वेरी स्पेसिफिक बेसिक थिंग्स. स्टार्ट न्यूज़पेपर, राइट. As I said, pick up some book or something that you can start as well. Again and again, anything that you have not revised multiple times will not be of any use. ठीक है, चलो. I think we have taken a lot of time. I'll meet you in another session very soon. If you want a session on a specific thing, you can write in the comment box of the YouTube. I'll try to make a session on that. Otherwise, I'll choose my way. ठीक है, चलो. All the very best. Take care and continue your hard work. Don't be disappointed. Again, don't be judgmental on this. You have fought well, and again, things will be great. Just keep working hard. ठीक है, all the very best. All the very best. Thank you. Thank you everyone. Thank you Aryan. Thank you Jyoti. Thank you Tanvi. Everyone. Thank you. चलो, all the best.